roll right into Kamala's policy?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So I don't know. Again, I'm interested to see if people are interested in this video. But Kamala has not been very or incredibly forthcoming with her policy positions. But one of the most detailed policies that she's put out there, and to be fair, it's been like a month now. I don't expect her to be, writing policy for us to see right now. But one of the most detailed policies that she's put out there is her housing policy. Now, as a 27-year-old who would like to be able to buy a house before he hits 30, this is very important to me personally, because she's doing a lot to help first-time home buyers and expand the housing market in general. And I think the way that she's going about it is incredibly smart. She's leading with a very populist policy proposal of giving $25,000 to first-time home buyers for assistance on their down payment, which is the biggest thing that prevents a lot of people from buying a home, because people have the money to pay their mortgage, or else they wouldn't be able to pay rent. It's that large down payment that they can't afford to save up for because they're paying rent and getting no equity in exchange. That's one of the biggest barriers to people becoming homeowners in America, and that's going to go right to it. And now the obvious critique of that is, oh, well, if you give $25,000 in increased demand while supply remains the same, well, you're just going to end up with more expensive homes, which is true, which is why she's also creating massive tax incentives to build 300 million new homes in this country. And on top of that, providing $40 billion special fund to be given as grants to cities and other local governments to find creative solutions to build up their housing supply and rental supply for people who aren't buying these multi-$100,000 homes, and that is going to be deflationary more than the $25,000 is inflationary. I think this is excellent policy. It thinks through all of the different points and finds the bipartisan solutions, like building more supply, which is very good for both Republicans and Democrats. I just think it's an absolute home run. I think it's effective policy. I think it's effective political policy. And if the rest of her policy is like this, I'm more excited about what she's going to do policy-wise than I was before I heard this. Now, I haven't talked to either of you about this at all. Maybe you're not as excited about this policy as I am. TJ, I'll ask you first. What did you think about this?
Well, the first thing I thought, so I was reading through the article and I kept trying to find, increasing the supply would bring down the costs. That's true. I mean, we all learned this in, ninth grade, supply and demand and stuff. But I didn't see anything talking about the huge issue of like large corps buying the houses.
High tax penalties on any individual corporation that owns more than 50 residential.
Okay, I didn't see that. I was looking for that. Okay, all right. Yep. Okay, all right, perfect then. All right, yeah. So
I'm telling you, TJ, she's got her bases fucking covered with this.
Yeah, because honestly, I don't even know if supply is actually the issue. I think the issue is that it's availability. That you have states that have like 10-15% of the single family homes that are owned by one single corporate entity, and that's what's really driving the prices up. Now, of course, adding more homes to the market, and especially low cost ones, because when I was reading that the assistance was $25,000, that's good, but that's still not going to be enough to cover a lot of these down, because a lot of these down payments are 15-20%, and you're paying 15% on, let's say, a $400,000 house. That's 60,000. Yeah. So, I mean, look, that's a lot of fucking money. I mean, that's 20%. That's a lot of fucking money. Good.
I think that in reading the article, and I think it said something about how the guidelines for what qualifies as a starter home has not yet been set out. And I think that one of the things that we do have a shortage of in this country is a small house. And I don't mean a tiny home, but when our parents were buying their first houses, you could buy 1,000 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath house and say that's a starter home. And I think that's one piece that if you get that lined out well to where people can buy a small home and have a $25,000 down payment, that goes a really long way. I'm just happy there is a policy.
Yes.
I feel like back in 2009, 2010, I feel like Obama had a very similar, like a $10,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers. And I don't know what the effectiveness of that was. I remember my sister got 10 grand back on her taxes from buying a house when she became a first home buyer in that time frame. And so I'm just happy that Harris is coming up with a policy and trying to come up with a solution. And that compared to the other side is, leaps and bounds ahead.
Yeah, that the Democrats are doing a really good job of actually putting forth policies that help, because it's wild that I still can't believe Republicans still have this this clout about them as the party that is fiscally responsible and helps you with finance. Like, you ask your average person, they'll say, well, of course the Republicans are better for the economy. They're terrible for the economy, like in every conceivable metric. And you don't see these issues. Like, one thing we talk about all the time is how politicians really need to do things to help people start families, like other than forcing them to have children, like things that would actually incentivize people to have families, and making houses affordable, quantifying what a starter house is. And one thing we didn't mention that John talked about, making rentals more available and cheaper, because rent is out of this world expensive. And that's going to help out too, because a lot of young people are not ready to own a home and actually don't want to at that time. But, they're paying $2,500 a month to rent, and it's just precluding them from ever saving enough to buy a house. So, yeah, I think it's a good idea that they're actually putting something forward, anything to give people some sort of hope.
Yeah, and TJ, what you said about supply, we have the dirty bubble here. I'm saying supply is definitely the main issue. We have a shortage of 4.5 million homes. We need to push the limit on single-family housing. It is an issue with supply. I'm going to put up a chart here to show new homes built by decade. And basically what happened is 2008 happened, and we stopped building. We stopped building homes. And I say that, and it sounds like hyperbole, but it really isn't. From 2000 2009, we built 27 million homes. The decade before that, 26 million. Decade before that, 25 million. From 2010 to 2019, we built 5.8 million homes.
Damn.
And it's not like our population stopped growing. And there are a million things you can say, about you can't just build more and expect things to happen, blah, 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 blah. At some point, the basics of supply and demand will come into effect. And when you build 15 million less homes than would have otherwise been expected, and your population continues to grow, well, fuck, you're going to have housing problems. It's not rocket science. Like, on just the 300 million new homes on its own, it doesn't matter if they're low income. It doesn't matter if they're first time homes. Like, it's nice. It's a good thing that she's focusing on that. But if you just built 300 million new luxury homes, well, you know what? The people who are currently sitting in multi-million-dollar shitty fucking homes are going to go buy those nice ones. And those multi-million-dollar shitty fucking homes, and if you live in a city, you've seen them. You've gone by a home, you've seen it's for sale, and you've gone, ooh, it doesn't look all that nice. I think I could maybe afford that. You look up Zillow and you're like, holy shit, that's multi-million dollars. There's no way. Well, you know what? Those people are going to move out of those homes into the nice new homes that are built. Those homes are going to become available for middle-class people. And then people who are renting, suddenly there's all of the space that they can move into that the previously middle-class people are now moving up into. And it creates downward pressure on all the markets. And economics isn't always that simple. But in this case, it is. And it's Obama. Obama was up there talking about, having to increase supply and making homes more affordable. These are concepts which used to be venomous in the Democratic Party. This used to be, Republicans used to be for supply side, building more homes. And Democrats were the ones who were very not in my backyard, zoning regulations. Like, this is a problem that a lot of Democrats have created. I mean, look at the cities that have the hardest housing supply problems being Democrat-run cities like LA and New York. There's a reason for that. And the fact that we're seeing Barack Obama at the DNC talking about this, it's honestly one of the most successful wins, at least on my side of the political leftist aisle, that I've seen. And it's been in rapid succession over the past, 5 years or so.
Damn.
That's an amazing piece of data.
I
I was not aware of that.
Me neither. And I think what I was thinking with the supply thing was homelessness, not necessarily affordability. I think I crossed my wires on that one there, because there's like 15 million empty homes or something, and there's not 15 million homeless people, but that's a separate issue than the affordability of the homes. But yeah, I had no idea that our production of houses had dropped that much. Holy shit, that's bad.
Okay, you officially made it to the end of the episode, sponsored by the one and only Scott's Hamburgers in Bixby, Oklahoma. While you are at Scott's Hamburgers, you should definitely look up our wonderful guest, Superman Todd. Superman Todd, how about you tell our audience where they can find you?
Hey, I'm just on TikTok as Superman Todd 2. This is my second account. First one got banned a couple years ago. So come out there and follow me, kind of known as the Southern Liberal. So go follow me, and I appreciate it.
We appreciate you, Superman Todd. He's the Southern Liberal. He's the only one, or he's the best one, I guess. So yeah, make sure you follow his account. Folks, we appreciate it. I was going to make a joke about Scott's Hamburgers, and John beat me to it. So I got nothing for you now, folks. I know it's kind of my thing, but peace out. We'll catch you next time.
As soon as I saw your face,